Hello, and welcome back to another episode of FPL Journey to 10K. And look who's back with us. It's Matt. Matt, how was your week?
Yeah, good man, good. There was a bit of a rumor that because you've been doing so well, I've kind of like plateaued. I couldn't
Kicked
face
you.
face the smugness the last couple of weeks.
I tried not to be. I tried not to be. It's gone all right. It's gone all right, but it's all because of your guidance that you try and give to me, and obviously everybody that's listening. So I didn't start off with your attributes today, but just to remind everybody, 8 times in your 8 seasons, no lower than 25K, 6 times top 10K finish, former world number one. Good to have you back with us. Obviously, planning for game week 28, 29. As we're recording this, there's three FA Cup games going on. Two are tight, both 0-0, and then the City are 3-1 up. It's a shame De Bruyne and Haaland couldn't do that in the league, eh?
Do you own De Bruyne?
Well, I'd have took the Haaland captain. The teams in my main league who are second and third don't have him at all, so I'd have took the
Yeah.
points happily.
Okay. Um, but yeah, it's good to be back, man. But like, yeah, I'm intrigued to see how you've done. I know you've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, I've been doing all right. I've been doing all right. We'll come on to it. Uh, we'll show it now, I guess. So here's our teams from game week 26.
Wow.
Uh, I don't think either of us had a particularly great week or a particular bad week. I've scraped a green, basically, is what I've done. 56 points overall, gone from 89K up to 88K, 1613 overall. The big saviour for me this week was Gross. He was on
Yeah.
two. It was on 1 point. He was on 1 point up until about 5 minutes to go. Picked up an assist with the cross to Dunk, and went from 1 point to 3 points for an assist, and to the top of the bonus point chart. So he ended up getting 6 points thanks to that assist,
He's been a
and jumped to
monster, right? I
seventh.
think I think since you brought him in, I think there was a lot of there were more glamorous picks, right, rather than like Gross, who's like on set pieces and whatnot. But he just needs to do one thing, right? He needs to. Well, sometimes he doesn't even need to do an attacking return. He's in
Yeah,
the bonus, right? Because he's just so creative and just retains the ball so well. But yeah, he's been a hell of a pick for you. Like, was it
he's
like
done
game
me
week
well.
22 or something like that? There was that consideration on like there's all these different midfield
That
options.
was it.
Bowen, interestingly, obviously got 20 points this week in a hat trick. He was one of the options you were considering. Well, you got
Yeah,
Foden in your team now, but you're
Foden.
considering a
We had
few other options as well. But Gross is the
there's
boring option, right? But you
loads.
trust those data points and those fixtures,
Just
right?
the
And
stats.
he's been
Just the
great.
stats.
He's been
And
great.
game week, that's it. Game week 23, 11. Game week 24, he got 10. Then he got 8. Then now he's got 7. So he's
Wow,
returned in every
that's
game week
amazing.
since. He is
Yeah,
he is flying.
he's been hell of a pick. And I think some of the other ones that you're considering. I mean, all those players we've mentioned there. Bowen not so good up until this week, but yeah, Foden's been really good during that period as well. There were some like
Yeah,
more glamorous picks that have just like failed, right, for various reasons. Like I think
yeah,
Jota would
yeah.
have been one. I think
Jota was in it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
there's a few, right? So he's been hell of a
Elise.
kind of
I
pick.
think we had
Um,
Eze. I think we put Bruno and Garnacho in there.
yeah,
There's
no,
yeah, there's a big list of them.
he's he's been
But
yeah,
and
been awesome, really. And like
Odegaard as
yeah, when
well.
you've played him, did you bench his points when 1 week, or have you played him?
Did know. I benched him. I benched him against Tottenham away, and he scored a pen. So he got 10 points. So I've missed out on that one, but I've hit all the others. So he's done me
Fair,
well. He's done me well.
fair play. Look,
Uh,
I missed 1 week of potting with you, and I think I was going into game week 24 pretty much neck and neck with you. I think it was like pretty much the same point, same rank, and I've gone down 20,000 ranks, which is kind of pretty bad over like yeah. You think like if you're an engaged player for FPL, if it's a double game week, a blank game week, you can kind of make some ground there. But yeah, I've kind of conceded ground, and fair play to you. Look at you, you've like gone up what 200k in the last like 2 game weeks.
yeah, it's done all right. I've had quite a few greens. Again, I
Nice.
think I think that pick uh, for Gross has helped me out. But just where was I? So last couple of weeks, yeah, gone from game week 23, 258K. So in 4 weeks,
Wow.
managed to knock 170K off the rank. So it's all because the guidance, right? The guidance. I think I've done a lot of things differently this season. Um,
looking. It's good,
More hits,
really good play.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
But
But hey,
we're
like
trying.
let's break the trend. All right? Let's go through you talk me through your game week kind
Through
of
it,
story because
yeah. So
you're doing a little bit more
a
better
couple
than
of
me. So
frustrations.
yeah.
Yeah, a couple of frustrations with it. I imagine you've had more frustrations than me, so I shouldn't moan too much. But Areola, 2 points, got a save point, but conceded twice is what it is. I've not come to expect anything from Dubravka or Areola. I've just got other things I need to deal with in my team than to move one of them on. The frustration begins with Gabriel and Saliba, 4-0 up. And what an absolute waste of a goal from an FPL point of view that Newcastle goal was. Two clean sheets wiped out for, in effect, what was a consolation. That was
It was
pretty
Willock as well,
frustrating.
like a complete non-entity in fantasy terms and probably like real terms to be fair. But that Arsenal defense is elite though, right? I think they conceded
Yeah,
didn't concede a shot in the first half, and then I think it was 0.2 xg in the whole game. So like, yeah, that means like, if they play that match 5 times, they could keep a clean sheet four times.
yeah,
Like if you trust those odds. I think their defense is better than we said. I keep banging on that, but probably the best we've seen in the Premier League for quite a few years now. But it does remind me of
yeah,
Man City of a few years ago, where proper elite defense, but they'd find a strange way to concede a goal, right?
yeah. They did it against Liverpool as well, not too long ago, where they battered Liverpool and conceded. But
No,
yeah,
exactly. But you got to be happy. Frustrating, right? But
yeah,
you got to be happy with two Arsenal defenders like for the next couple of game weeks,
yeah,
surely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Happy to have them. Happy to have them. The move that I made this week. So Taylor was always going to play for me because I knew he was going to start. There was a league prior to the deadline. The move I made this week was Robertson out, bought in Moreno, and I did it because Robertson didn't have a game. Moreno has had a decent fixture, and he was also guaranteed to play in game week 29. So it gave me some
Yeah,
flexibility on potentially trying to dodge the wild card, the free hit. Sorry, in 29. And I thought to myself, Walker's not going to play. I don't know why. I just didn't see Walker getting a game. So I'd have been down to 10 players. So I thought, well, I've got the transfer. I'll use it, try and get myself 11 players, get the points this week, guarantee yourself a player. My logic was sound because Walker didn't play, didn't come off the bench, got 0 points. Unfortunately, the person I picked decided to get himself booked, conceded twice, and got substituted in the 59th minute and ended up on -1. Um, so I'm happy with the decision because it made sense. Not so happy with the outcome, but these
yeah.
things
No,
happen, right?
I get it because Villa got a good had a good game week last week. They got a good fixture this week as well, playing Luton. They played 29 as well, so it keeps your pathways in terms of moves open, which is kind of smart, which I think is the best play to do at the moment. Um, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? I'm viewing that as your
Yeah,
pot of luck with Walker as well because it involved the Walker kind of thing.
through
And
that.
game week 25, I'm sorry, man, you got lucky with Walker. Like some
Oh,
of those
100%.
assists he made, and
100.
like the guy should have been carded like so many times. So yeah, I think you're still
Yeah.
up.
I'll take
I
us
think you're still
12.
up. I think you're still up with
Yeah,
with the luck with Walker.
I'll definitely take his 12 points and move on. But he'll be once a wild card or so he won't be in my team anymore. I'm carrying him for the time being. My other transfer was Palmer out for Huang. I think a lot of the community did a very similar transfer. Palmer doesn't play 26, unlikely to play in 29. He also has Man City in 28, so he's got tough fixtures and blanks. Huang's got some nice fixtures,
Yeah,
so I thought I'd take a bit of a punt, a bit of a nice, interesting move. It was him or Douglas Luiz, but Douglas Luiz was boring to me, so I was never really going to do it. So I don't feel bad that I didn't go there. It was never 50-50. It was always pretty much 99 to Huang, 1% to Douglas Luiz, just because I fancied it a bit more. But his
so were you
expected
tempted?
goals,
Were you tempted because obviously at the moment, Villa definitely have a fixture in 29, and not
yeah,
Bournemouth, like Wolves, Bournemouth. Probability says it's not a fixture, right? I think it's probably like 90% odds that they're not going through, right? I know Bournemouth are playing Leicester right at the moment, and it's still 0-0. But obviously Wolves play as well, so I think it's unlikely they got a fixture. What's the logic
mhm.
with like Huang? Was it just like, hey, he's got Sheffield United, he's done well this year? Was it purely looking at that?
See,
Yeah,
purely
okay.
there. He's doing well this year. He's got Sheffield United. He's probably on pens now. Kuna's out. So it
Yeah,
just felt like a more exciting pick. I don't know why. No matter how much of a good season Douglas Luiz is having, I don't rate him as an FPL pick. Because, I mean, he's having a ridiculous season. By far the best season he's ever
I
had. And
think
he's been in the Premier League for quite a few years.
I think he's like gross in
Yeah.
that his heat maps, right, and his positioning will never look good because he's a central midfielder, box to box midfielder, right? He's also very good, very creative, just like Gross. He plays in an attacking team, just like Gross, and he's on all set pieces. I think he's on corners from one side. He's on all free kicks, direct free kicks, indirect ones, and he's on pens, right? So, yeah, view him as a Gross. He's not got as good a underlying stats, but I think he plays for a better team, right? So, kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
it kind of like balance itself off. So I think view him as a gross type player. So yeah, I was a bit I wasn't surprised in some ways. Like Kwang was a very popular move, but like yeah, I thought it's easy to say in hindsight, isn't it? With Douglas Luiz massively overperforming his
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
performance in that game. Like it'd be fair if he got like I don't know an assist, right? Like yeah, 2 goals
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a bit excessive, but yeah, I was a little bit surprised just because it helps with navigating game week
29.
29. Um,
I'm not far off being set on a free hit for 29, but
Fair enough. Fair enough.
we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that
Well,
at some
we'll know
point.
by this is Tuesday night. We'll know by
Yeah,
Thursday night what's the
yeah.
best pathway there. Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly there. But yeah, the rest of the team did okay. Saka with 10, Foden with 11. Good to see him get a goal. Watkins with a goal and assist to 9, and then Haaland was the captain, got an assist and took him to 10 points with the 5 doubled. Captaincy was probably always going to be on Haaland. I did discuss on last week about other options, and it wasn't a surefire thing because Bournemouth are fairly good at home.
yeah,
But I have to, yeah, I don't think I was ever tempted to take it away from Haaland. But yeah, not bad, not bad. Small green arrow, but I'd rather get a small green arrow than a red. So I'll take it as they come. It's steady rank. Happy with 88k. I'm hopeful. 12 weeks left. I'm hopeful I can push on. My best ever finish is about 42k. So if I can beat
yeah.
that,
Easy,
I'll be happy.
easy. I think for you. Like,
Good.
yeah, me not.
Fingers
I'll
crossed.
see. I'll do very good to not get my worst rank this year. And so a lot of this stuff is me shooting myself in the foot. So yeah, like where I'm sitting at the moment, I've got 51 points last game week, which is like a 4 million game week rank, so pretty average. Yeah, 1,566 points overall. So I've got a red arrow to 326k. So kind of frustrating because I haven't really made any ground in the last 5 game weeks, and yeah, the last 2 with the double and the blank, I've actually lost about about 25k in rank, which is not great because I think those are the periods with good planning that you can kind of really move forward. So yeah, kind of not ideal, but yeah, kind of the move I made this week was yeah, quite a simple one. I guess you could view it as a move that I didn't need to make, but I knew there was risks of some of my players not playing, like De Bruyne maybe wouldn't played. Stupinan and Taylor, one of them may not have played right. So I just brought in Solanke for Darwin because I knew I wanted him for 27. He may be injured, but because he's not played the FA Cup not a match tonight against Leicester, but I know he's been rested completely from the squad in previous FA Cup games, so it might just be resting their best and most important player, right? So we'll see what happens
Yeah,
there. So yeah, I brought in Solanke 2 points, kind of like fine. I did that as a bit of like risk aversion just to make sure that I didn't really want to play Charlie Taylor, to be honest. I just knew he'd get like 1 or 2 points. At least Solanke had a chance. He had a decent chance to get a goal. Yeah, he had that glancing header, which other day could go in. So yeah, brought Solanke in. So yeah, pretty muted kind of team. I guess like difference between me and you. Obviously, you had Gross. For me, we spoke about the double Arsenal defence. I'm kind of still happy with that. That's probably the difference between a relatively large green arrow and a red, which was like Arsenal conceding that kind of late goal. Obviously got a few issues. I've got Stupinan. I think quite a lot like a lot of people. I probably saw the pre-deadline rumors going around that he was starting, right? So I was just thinking he's just a very good player. So like he's going to be
Yeah,
starting for Brighton. But yeah, he came on for 1 point, and then the same with De Bruyne, right? And obviously, I saw the leak that De Bruyne wasn't starting, and I just kind of thought, do I want to generally play Charlie Taylor over him? No, I thought, okay, he's proved it before. He can get a attack and return in 30 minutes or whatnot. So he came on, but of course, got a yellow card, so came on from 0 points. So
yeah,
yeah, that was the real difference. And yeah, with De Bruyne, he's probably like a real self-inflicted problem that I've created. So I brought him in for a hit in game week 25, and I hate to say it, but like I was really influenced by Joe. Like, we put up these predicted point scores and stuff like that. I think every site that had predicted points was like De Bruyne is going to get 9 or 10 points. I was like, oh bloody hell, I can't miss out on that. And I was thinking, oh, he's in such great form and whatnot. But I kind of lost some of the fundamentals because when we were both debating De Bruyne when he first returned back, we said he's very expensive and inflexible, and his minutes are going to be managed so carefully that he's not worth it. And also, his underlying stats are never outstanding. So I kind of got a little bit excited and was chasing those high predicted points when I brought him in. And yeah, in the double game week, he was unlucky. He didn't get a return in the first game. Should have
yeah.
got an assist really if you looked at the underlying stats. And then the second game did not start it because of like injury or like a niggle, unlucky. And then I guess the same with um the Bournemouth fixture as well. Like you can't really predict like an injury. And yeah, of course, like he's playing tonight. I think what's he got 3 assists tonight in the FA Cup.
Four. He's on four now. 4 assists, and Haaland's on 5 goals.
Well, the guy, yeah, says it all really. Like I've been a fiend for picking like underperformers when they're in my team. But yeah, I was a bit like I can admit on that one, bringing him for a -8. That's some wider logic, but like yeah, I was a bit greedy there. So yeah, I'll see if I'm making a move this week. It probably does involve him out, depending on how the
Even just
other
for the
FA Cup.
assists,
What's
after
that?
his performance tonight.
Um, well, it's just um, they have some tough fixtures coming up. Like the United game this weekend is not. I don't think that's a tough one. That's probably actually a really ripe fixture for someone like De Bruyne. But I think the minutes will be managed, and he's a problem for 29. This is where I kind of keep him for 1 week and then look to reassess.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the more sensible option because I've not been very good at holding rolling free transfers, and sometimes they can come back to bite you, right? If you just make that move that you can wait a week on, right? So yeah, we'll talk about planned moves tonight, but it's good that he's fit enough to start, I suppose,
yeah, yeah.
right? So and yeah, it's, it's proved in cup games anyway. He can get 4 assists in a single game. Um,
Flying.
yeah. But yeah, all good, all good. But yeah, you've done awesome the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
It's looking
need to
looking
keep
like
it going.
could be a really like good end of season for you.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Still 12 to go. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll both start climbing even further. But a couple of talking points I've noted just for the game week. So talking about ink strikers, and I've the first two I've put some slides together so we can talk about it. But it seems to be pretty much every team over the next couple of game weeks, probably this game week or next, will have Haaland, Solanke, Watkins. So I just want to look at, is there any other options? So we'll have a look on that. Clean sheets hard to come by. Pretty much all of the big teams. I know City kept a clean sheet, but pretty much everybody else is conceding. We've
Mm.
hit the frustration with Arsenal a few times. So just to look at the defense data. And then the last two, the big players of the game week, Douglas Luiz with a brace. You mentioned about him overperforming. His expected goals was 0.55. So he got 2 goals from that. Over the season, though, right, it's 5.6 million. Expected goals per 90, or expected goal involvement per 90, should I say, is 0.41. Now, I know you're a big fan of that metric. Do you think that 0.41 for 5.6 million is a steal?
Well, you probably got Palmer right for the same price. ish, and he's probably 0.8. Like so,
Yeah,
like there's better options, but that like Palmer's like exceptional value. I think he's all right, to be honest. It's not the worst. I think is you
yeah,
don't want him as a glue player, right? You don't want him as someone that's in your team as a permanent fixture. But when you're navigating like things like fixtures and form and blanks and doubles, like I think if it falls favourably, and I think for Villa they have some okay fixtures now, and they play in 29. I think yeah, he kind of
yeah,
does become like quite an interesting option. Not so much a must, but I think
yeah,
he's
yeah,
sensible for those that are looking to attempt to navigate 29 by free transfers anyway.
yeah, yeah. And then Bowen is very similar. So Bowen has
Hmm.
done next to nothing for about 7 game weeks, I think it is, and then he
Yeah,
pulls in his very first hat trick. So he had expected goal of 0.64, but put four in the back of the net. So it's just to see, do you think he's in contention? He's away at Everton. He's then at home to Burnley. He's guaranteed to play in 29 at home to Villa.
yeah.
So is he on your radar?
Um, Bowen less so, just because I don't think West Ham are a great team right now. And he's a little bit hard to get to just because of the price point, right? Because he's not as accessible as Douglas or Luiz. But yeah, of course he's an option, right? For sure. Um, I think a lot of people have him on the free hit in 29.
Yeah,
I'll say that. I'll say that at least. But on your other points, like the
yeah, yeah,
clean sheets, yeah, it's been a trend all year. I think easiest way to get a clean sheet is to go for Arsenal defenders, right? I mean, obviously they had a run, didn't they, where they had like probably a three in a row or whatnot, right? So I think
yeah, yeah.
over time this
We've
really
done
does.
well.
It's
Like
it's
the
a
last the
metric
last
that
few
really
game
does average
weeks.
itself out, right? So I think
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
clean sheets go for Arsenal, and then with the strikers, I think you're right. Up until game week 28, when there's the Bournemouth double, like it'll be those three: Haaland, Solanke, Watkins. Maybe depending on team structure, someone might
Tony.
have a Morris, right, because of
Yeah,
Luton,
yeah,
but doubt that's going to be thing. But yeah, come 29, Tony will be in a lot of people's teams.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
He'll be
think
on
the
everyone's team for a free hit, no doubt, right? Um, and then like yeah, quite a few people may want to they're navigating transfers and they're going to wild card in 30, which is I think a valid strategy. Is yeah, Haaland may go to Tony, Solanke may go to Tony, right? So okay, next couple of those ones are the obvious picks, right? And I think yeah, 80% plus of engaged players will have that front line.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I think they will, but Tony might be an option as well. Just so you know, City are now 6-2 up. No KDB or Haaland involvement in that one, but Newcastle have scored. And good news for you, it's Anthony Gordon. Bit of form for him. Does mean that they're likely to blank in 29, but at least your players getting the goals. Um, but
He
yeah,
only scores
striker
goals when I
options.
bench him.
So, aye,
That's the
true.
problem.
That's true.
I'd rather not have him.
The
Yeah,
penalty, a bit like me and Gross with the
yeah.
penalty. Yeah, so I mentioned there's injuries to Darwin who a lot of people had. There's injury to Hodgland who a few people were getting in with his 6 goals in scoring in 6 games in a row. But yeah, these are the strikers valid options. So over the last 6 game weeks, these are the players that have been on form. And then on the right, I've got a table which will tell you their fixtures that are coming up and then their expected points over that time. Now, what that doesn't take into account is those that might blank in 29. So those stats take into account
Mhm.
that. Yeah, they're including game week 29 fixtures for the people like Alvarez, who now, unless Luton now score 5 in the last 10 minutes of that game, Alvarez won't be playing in game week 29. So it's got to take that into account. But Watkins right at the top of form, Haaland what's he fourth, and then Solanke is fifth. But in the expected points data, the 1, 2, and 3. So you can completely see why they're the big three. But do you look at any? But like, is it for you that's as simple as that? They are the three. They're the three you need, or is there anybody else in your opinion, like a Tony, that might jump out and think, well, actually, he's guaranteed a fixture in 29. Could be an interesting place to go.
Yeah, I guess really we got two time periods now, right? We've got game week um 27
Yeah,
and 20. Well, what was it? What one are we going into now? 27. We got game week
27,
27, 28.
27, 28.
And then we got 29, which is either one in isolation or viewed over the thing. So it depends on that chip strategy, doesn't it? Right, which I think we'll know a little
Yeah,
bit better around what we plan to do for each individual team, like by end of this week, right? Once the FA Cup fixtures become clearer. But yeah, on the face of it, those are the three that kind of stand out. And like Haaland's underlying numbers have been really good. Like obviously the table that you're displaying here, the fix expected FPL points, what over the last was it 6 games?
6 games.
Yeah,
Oh, six
obviously
game weeks, but
six
City had the
games,
double.
6 games. Yeah, so like for Haaland, obviously you can see here the minutes have been managed. Tony 630 minutes, Haaland 450. So if you do it expected points or expected goals per 90, Haaland's will look better. I mean, you got
Yeah,
to form up your own view of whether that's an issue with him as a player, right? That he's not going to get as many minutes as someone like Tony, who will play every single minute. But he was getting his back. So yeah, I think it's Watkins, Haaland, and Solanke are the kind of like are the main ones. And then yeah, kind of like Tony on honourable. Yeah, the guys the second and third in the form list based on expected FPL points. Morris and Tony have honourable mentions just for the double for Morris in 28,
yeah,
and then Tony for the blank in 29. So yeah, I mean that's the pool of players we're playing with. I mean, Højlund will be interesting if United have a fixture in 29. I think yeah, if they do, he'll be a popular choice on free hit for sure. But yeah,
yeah,
you're fishing in a quite a limited pond there, aren't you?
yeah.
I
I've
don't
just seen
think
if
it's one to
Morris.
overthink. I don't think it's one to overthink really.
No, 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 no. I was just seeing if Morris would have a game in 29. No, I've obviously from the looks of it, they're out. It's 6-2. Blackburn have scored, by the way, so Newcastle might still have a game week in 29. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But Luton are out, likely. You, Forest is who they're playing in 29, but Forest have got United tomorrow at Forest. So we'll start to hang fire. Um, but does he become a bit more of a appealing if Forest lose to United? Or like for
Um,
Solanke, I'm thinking if Bournemouth or Wolves go through, you need to potentially move a Solanke on.
yeah, of course, yeah, in 29, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, um,
not until then.
yeah, kind of the dilemma then for a lot of the teams, if you got the three up front, Haaland, Watkins, and Solanke, is if you went into game week 28, right? The dilemma that you'd have, which would be, I don't think anyone would do it, is like you'd want to keep Watkins because he's got a guaranteed game. But it depends if you're free hitting or not. But let's say you're not
Yeah,
free hitting. You want to keep Watkins. You'd you'd want to keep Solanke for 28 because obviously he has the great fixtures and the double. And then Haaland, you want to keep him because it's Haaland. But like if you were moving any of the three, it'd probably be Haaland to Morris, right? Just because
yeah,
you'll have a double game week and then under that scenario, you'll have a kind of like you'll have a fixture next week, which seems
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
kind of like, it might be if that pathway opened that Luton were having a double game week followed by a fixture in a blank game week, yeah, people would be taking hits. So you'd be taking Haaland out for a hit for Morris. Like, I don't know if that sounds too appealing. Although I think City have got like a tough game that week, and they've got who they've
Is it
got.
Chelsea?
I think so.
I think it might be
We're
Chelsea.
talking
You know,
about
Chelsea in 28.
28.
But yeah, so you're taking Haaland out for Morris, but
It's
it's
Liverpool. It's
Haaland's.
Liverpool away.
Why
So
would I not know that? Of course, it's
maybe
Liverpool. It's at Anfield as well.
yeah. So
We've conquered all of Europe.
maybe
So yeah,
yeah.
we've so you so you're taking Haaland out from Morris. Haaland a game against Liverpool, and Morris has got 3 games. So yeah, it
I think yeah.
sounds crazy,
I think
but
I think that could come. I think that probably pays off under that scenario.
yeah, interesting. So I look forward to you selling Haaland for Morris in a couple of weeks to see that see that happen.
Luton can score goals though.
Um,
Luton can score goals. So I think they just proved it tonight, right, against City. They've scored.
Yeah,
I
scored
don't think
twice.
City's
Scored
defense
twice.
has been amazing, but like, yeah, they've yeah, scored
How about
two,
a
haven't they?
right?
So
And
yeah.
even again, it was a Newcastle not that long ago, 4-4. So yeah, they've got goals in them.
I don't think, yeah,
I made a
Newcastle. I
mistake
think
on this
I
time.
wouldn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
Newcastle take with a pinch of salt on it because they are by far the worst defense, which is crazy how they've transitioned from elite defense to the worst defense by some margin. But like,
yeah,
yeah, I think they've proved it against a few teams that they can score a goal, right?
yeah, absolutely. Um, I'll apologise for this one. I forgot to put the fixtures in. So you've got the form and you've got the expected points. The form's slightly different, so I've obviously included there is expected goals and expected assists in there, but there is also expected clean sheets. And you can see, as you pointed to, clearly Arsenal are the best defence. They are miles ahead of every other player on this. Gabriel 4.9, 4.09,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, expected clean sheets. Saliba 4.07, White 4.4. So yeah, the Arsenal defence is absolutely phenomenal compared to the rest. Tell you what impresses me as well. Expected goals at Gabriel 1.49 over the last 6 game weeks for a defender.
Well, we
Not bad.
we said right at the beginning of the season, right, where when we went Gabriel over Saliba, it was because of goal threat, right? So it's been
Yeah,
there
yeah,
historically that he's been a threat from set pieces, but yeah, obviously they've been excellent. Obviously underperforming there. You saw this table by expected FPL points. The last 6 game weeks,
yeah,
Gabriel's got expected FPL points of 40, Saliba 31. You know, that's exceptional. That's better than a lot of the elite strikers that you were showing in the previous like page. So
yeah,
that they've been looking great. I look at this, I'm just like regretting why didn't I go dunk? I brought in a stupid just get dunk like rather than but yeah, I think yeah, you can't look beyond. It's like Arsenal defense and then one other really, right? And then you always got your
yeah,
expected points for the next couple of game weeks, and yeah, the Arsenal defenders stand out again. So that's where you need to go.
yeah,
Make
yeah.
it
The other
quite a
one, the other
simple one.
one, I don't. Yeah, I mean the other one's Shah, but you've literally just told us Newcastle are bottom of the expected, like in terms of how many goals they expect to concede. They've been horrendous. The next one is then Bradley. Now Trent could be back. I think he probably another week or two. And Bradley came off in the League Cup final early, so he's probably in line to start. But how many game weeks are you going to get out of Bradley? That's another thought. I don't know whether he's a you missed that boat if you know what I mean with Bradley. Do you think he's too late? If you haven't got him now, why would you get him? Sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, well, you wouldn't, would
With
you?
Trent
Because
coming
like
back,
you wouldn't get any Liverpool player really because of like no double and a
blanks.
blank. I think the defender that's
Yeah,
not on here that interests me is Senesi from Bournemouth. So I think
yeah.
I need to check how many yellow cards he's got because he seems to be a bit of a magnet, but he has gone
He
through
got one
periods where
today
he's
in
been,
the cup.
oh yeah, really, yeah, he might be
Yeah,
very close to a
yeah,
ban. But like ignoring that aspect, I think he'd be a pick and or insert other defender from Bournemouth just because of the strength of the fixtures that they've got in
yeah.
28 with the double.
It's just City. Oh, sorry, he went off. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what did you catch?
You went off and then you're back. You're back now. I don't, so it sounded like I was speaking over you. Apologies. You stopped speaking. I thought you'd stopped, but it's just my laptop froze. So nice to have you back. But yeah, City? Would you consider City, or is it too expensive? They're also probably going to miss
What
game
the
week 29, so
defenders?
are they now a write off?
No, it's just a toss up. I wouldn't consider them at all, right? So yeah, Walker owners recently are very like lucky. I mean, like their defense, I think is at the moment is I think Liverpool and Arsenal's defense are actually statistically better. I think is the Man City defense has not been what it has been historically, and like yeah, it's just
Yeah,
far too much of a rotation risk, right? I wouldn't know who
yeah,
to
yeah.
pick.
Even though he's done me well, I'm not happy with Walker being in the team. It's
No,
one of the easy. When I bought him in, I think we had the discussion when I bought him in. He'd played every single minute of every single game. I bought
yeah.
him in, and now he's starting to get benched. So thank you, Pep, for that. But yeah, so two Arsenal, and another. based on fixtures, maybe Bournemouth, based on the guarantees. Would you look at Villa based on the fact that they've got some nice fixtures and guaranteed a game in 29?
Um, Probably not.
I think
Not at
the
this
only other
moment.
one,
Yeah.
yeah, the only one in 29 guaranteed. I think Tottenham. Would you? I know Porro and Udogie are probably their best two defender options. Doesn't seem like they've got any long-term injuries. Would you consider them?
I do. Yeah, the Spurs defense is bad.
Yeah.
So probably
So
not.
we've had
I
a
think
chat,
yeah.
haven't we,
I think
about
bread
Porro?
and butter is clean sheets really. So I think when it comes to attacking
Yeah.
defenders, you want it fundamentally based in expected goals conceded by the team being like quite
Yeah.
low, and then like your attacking stats are a bonus on top of that. So Porro, like it's crazy as price and ownership because like he had a few good game weeks, right? But they were never he never had a monster haul because Spurs can't keep clean sheets. When he was being a
Yeah.
frustrating option, he was getting 6 points, 7 points because he might have had a assist and a bonus, right? So yeah, I try and like weight my decisions to like teams that got good defenses. And actually, like
Yeah.
Bournemouth aren't a bad defense.
Well, they're not.
Yeah.
Not at all. Uh, Before we move on, just to give you an update, De Bruyne is still on the pitch. Haaland's been taken off with Bernardo Silva, but De Bruyne seems to be being given the full 90. Leicester are beating Bournemouth, so it could be that
Hmm.
Bournemouth. We have to wait until see what happens with Wolves and Brighton, but Bournemouth could get a fixture in game week 29, which for just after a double for them, could be very handy for everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Which
just to finish on that, Arsenal. Defense, defense,
so
defense.
so in the, I think I'm playing this scenario in my head. So I I don't want that Wolves Bournemouth fixture to go ahead because like everyone who's not planned for anything, right, has bought in Huang. Like I'm not pointing fingers, but has bought in Huang. And like if
I'll point
yeah,
fingers.
if so I think it's Wolves need to beat
This
Brighton.
guy. Yeah,
Like yeah, that'd be pretty frustrating. Everyone will have it Huang like ready for the blank. Cool.
yeah.
But
I'll
like,
take it.
yeah,
I'll take it
if that
all
fixture
day.
becomes if that fixture goes ahead, like Wolves versus Bournemouth, right? So I think for that to happen, Leicester have to beat Bournemouth, which they are at the moment, and then I think Brighton have to
Brighton
beat
need to beat
Wolves
Wolves.
uh, uh, as well. Um, then that blank becomes very easy to navigate. Really, really,
Yeah,
really easy, right? Because everyone will have three Bournemouth players, right? Then
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of engaged people have one Wolves player at least as well. So yeah, that chip strategy would be like kind of like no more free hit. I think it
yeah, yeah.
becomes
Yeah,
very easy. Like everyone will have.
you hoping Chelsea lose?
I still, yeah, I think still that would be good for me. I made the bet on the double that game won't happen because I got rid of Palmer. The De Bruyne,
Yeah,
obviously, I should in hindsight because my alternative player that week was Gordon, who scored his first career penalty. So yeah, congratulations. I wasn't expecting that, but uh, yeah, yeah. You'd have three Arsenal, right? I've got three Arsenal.
three
You got three
Arsenal.
Arsenal,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the best ones, and then yeah, of course, like Palmer's very easy to bring back in if you've moved him on, right? So yeah,
yeah,
that one because it benefits me. I'm cool with that one happening because the Bournemouth fixture is just twang. Like it's just like
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like yeah. I'm not a big fan of him as a pick, and like I just saw everyone picking him, and I was like, oh, so yeah,
Well, he didn't do
yeah.
anything. So that's some good news.
No, exactly,
Um,
exactly, exactly.
but captain picks, captain options. So for the first time in a long time, other than when Haaland was injured or City didn't play, Saka is ahead of Haaland. Haaland is second in the stats. Obviously, he's got United, so not a fantastic fixture. Saka, on the other hand, is expected to get 6.9 compared to the 6.8, and he's got Sheffield United away. Now, Sheffield United have been, apart from against Wolves, in all fairness, but they have been shipping goals for fun. Is it a tough week for you here? Who
Yeah,
you
I think
picking?
so. I think
Okay.
uh yeah, I'm gonna have to look at expected minutes, team stats, and everything. I do think it's super close between like a few options, more so than this table suggests. I think
Yeah.
Son is an option this week against Crystal Palace at home. Like obviously Richarlison's there, it's
Yeah.
5.5. I'm surprised Son's not there, maybe thinking that he's not expected to get 90 minutes, but I think he'll be playing the full match. So I think if Son was on this table, he'd be close to expected points of 6, I think. So that's a really decent captaincy option. I think looking at my team, Watkins and Solanke, I know they're both away, but away at Burnley for Solanke, away at Luton for Watkins are interesting options. But yeah, I think that the three I mentioned there, Son, if you do have him in the team, and then Solanke and Watkins, I think they're all very good options. But yeah, it's kind of really toss up between Saka and Haaland. So I'm not surprised these are the two kind of like guys with the most expected points. I think it'll be a minutes play
Yeah.
really, like playing that. I think it's important to isolate what's just happened against Luton, where Haaland has scored
Yeah.
5 goals,
Yeah.
because that doesn't really have an impact, right, on
Yeah. He has been
what he
taken off,
does.
by the way. He got subbed off in the 77th, so you'd assume he's therefore likely to start.
Yeah.
Whereas De
Um,
Bruyne's been given the 90. And considering his minutes are being managed, I'm surprised he's been given the
yeah,
90.
it's
I
just a
don't know
weird
what your
decision,
view
isn't
is
it?
on that.
Like what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
like,
Seems a weird move. Does that mean he's not going to start in the Prem?
yeah, but
Can't
it's,
get
yeah,
Preps. We need to ring. One of us
bizarre.
needs to ring Pep and just ask him.
Yeah, bizarre when I saw he hadn't been subbed. Like, that is kind of like really weird logic there. But I think um, I need to look at Manchester United's team stats in terms of their defence. Right, I don't know where it is at the moment. I think it's mid-table, but Sheffield United's defence it's not the worst in the league. There are worse
Yeah.
teams. West Ham, Spurs, Newcastle, all not as good. As Sheffield United. So it's a bad defense, but is it bad? Bad? Yeah, I think I'm just um, about on Haaland at the moment, but it is a real toss up that I'm just gonna properly revisit. What about you?
I'll give you United away. Expected
Yeah,
goals conceded per 90 is 1.91. That's this season away from home. Loading up Sheffield United, and they're Sheffield United are a home race against Arsenal.
yeah, yeah.
So their expected goal conceded per 90 at home is 2.3. So they are worst statistically. They have a worse defense at home compared to United away.
Mm.
However, Haaland's expected goal involvement is about 0.25 ahead of Saka, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I think Arsenal have got a better attack than Manchester
Yeah.
City
At the
recently.
minute.
Yeah.
At the
Um,
minute, definitely.
I'll have a think about it. I think honestly, if it's a proper 50-50, like if you can't separate it and you don't have a strong opinion, this is the one time that I take into account percentage ownership and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'd probably in that scenario default to being a bit more cautious and go to Haaland, who I think Saka's got bigger ownership actually than Haaland, but Haaland will be the
yeah.
the the the,
The
the
captain pick.
runaway favourite in terms of captaincy, especially after the score of 5 goals tonight,
Yeah,
right? So if I look at the detail a little bit more and then just can't call it between them, I'll go for Haaland. But that's like the only time I really care about ownership in a
effective.
scenario like this. So yeah, at the moment I'm on Haaland, but Saka's certainly intriguing as an option. I think it's super close.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason I went for Haaland last week. It's like effective ownership. Just stick with him. But yeah, I agree. I think it's close. I'm on Haaland at the minute, but we'll see where I'm at when it comes. Um, questions from Matt. I answered one of these for you, and I changed it to questions for Dave. because I think the second one from Taxman is more for me than it is for you. But I thought I'll let you answer it anyway.
Yeah.
But a couple of them are that I wanted to pass on. So K7, two really good questions that I wanted to put in front of you. So the first one is, could you provide pointers on how to build a wildcard team and mistakes to avoid? Have you got any like three key things that you could when you're building a
Um,
wildcard that you focus on?
Let me think. It's tough when I haven't really been considering building a wild card myself, right? So it's easier to do that when we're doing
Yeah.
ourselves. I think um, uh, obviously looking at a 5 6 game weeks period minimum, if not a little bit longer, is important, right? You want to be happy and satisfied with that wild card for the proper medium to long term, right? You don't want to like hate your team in 2 or 3 game weeks, right? So and
Yeah.
that's one of the key thing, and try and ignore those fixtures, the first game week, the second game week, right? Don't put too much emphasis on that. Make sure it's a proper, medium to long term play. I think is important. Obviously, look at the fixtures of that stretch. That's going to be a kind of a thing that's dictating it, dictating what teams you go heavy on. I wouldn't be afraid around double ups and triple ups. Some people
Mhm.
like to hedge their bets because they think their eggs are all in one basket. But I think that's cool, right? If you're playing good players from good teams who've got like a nice run, for the next 6 7 8 game weeks, go all in on those. I think making those bets is absolutely fine. Um, what else? Go for set pieces, set piece
Yeah.
kind of like takers, penalty takers, set piece takers. Go for people who more often than not play 90 minutes. This is something I've been really bad at predicting this year. So there's been a bit of a contributing factor towards not doing as well. But like, try and limit the amount of punts that you've got. And I would just, out of my own sanity, I know it's sometimes not the most efficient play, but I would be limiting the amount of money I spend on goalkeepers.
Mhm.
I would be trying to limit the amount of money that I have got on my bench. I
Yeah, keep it as low as possible.
Yeah, I get some good options, and if you got doubles in mind, get some of those people that you may want to bench boost and whatnot. But I don't think spreading those funds throughout the team in a really like if you got like kind of like do a really exaggerated example, 5 defenders who are 5 million, right, and they're all playing for decent teams. I think like it's kind of really hard to predict and manage that rotation, right? So I do think that there's kind of value, my personal opinion, just maximizing and centralizing some of your funds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think all those things. And I think the summary there is don't overthink it, right? I think it's pick just those sensible, solid options that we just know are good players. There's been enough of the season now that we know who's a good player for a good team and who's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
That was
plenty
a
of
bit
things to
rambly.
work on.
I haven't really thought about wild cards for a while, so like, that's probably
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shittest answer ever.
Some
But
good no, it's good pointers. Absolutely good pointers. And K7 does ask another question, but I'll come on to that. Transfer question of the week. The one from Taxman, I say, is probably more for me than you. Is what's more important to you, FPL or EPL results? And how do you find sharing the opposition team? Now, I appreciate as a Bristol fan, you're not probably not too bothered, but have you got a Premier League team?
no, I couldn't care less. It's an easy
Yeah,
one, like.
so it's
Yeah,
dead easy.
fantasy all the way. Yeah, I don't support a Premier League team at the moment. See Bristol City in the Championship, so yeah, I couldn't care less. Like, have some entertaining
Yeah,
games, and I'm happy. So yeah, it's pure FPL, and it has been every season since I played it, which I think kind of helps, right? I've got no biases, right? So yeah,
yeah,
I don't know actually. Probably like you get so vested in FPL, the highly owned players you don't have in your team are probably even worse than like a rival team. Do you know what I mean? Like Pedro
yeah,
Porro was the villain, for a long
yeah,
stretch
yeah,
of the season. For me, Huang is at the moment, right? I know you're probably you're loving him, but yeah, FPL for
well,
me. But
it's
I
done
guess
anything.
it's a simple answer. Like it's obviously like I'm not a Liverpool fan like yourself, so
Yeah,
yeah, for you it's probably a bit more of a dilemma. But for me, it's easy
yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't support anyone in the Premier League.
Yeah, my answer was I am newly crowned League Cup winners Liverpool first, of course. I would rather see Liverpool do well than my FPL team, and I'd rather see people like City and Arsenal do badly rather than do well for my FPL team. But FPL helps to make it less painful. If City score and it's Haaland that does it, it helps to at least I can go, oh well, at least my FPL team's doing well. So it kind of limits the pain if you like. But yeah, I'm Premier League first, FPL second. But I love both. Why can't you love both?
Yeah.
That's my thought. Why can't you love doing both?
It
Um,
enhances it. It
yeah,
enhances the experience, doesn't it? Like I have to say,
yeah,
there's like always a meaningless game, right?
yeah,
Let's make it one. Bournemouth, Newcastle. Like, who cares?
yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking of like some random Monday night games or Sunday afternoons. Always like West Ham, aren't they? West Ham
What's
against
it? Yesterday?
West
Who
Ham
was it
against
yesterday?
Bournemouth.
Who did West Ham? West Ham Bournemouth or West Ham Brentford was it yesterday? Nobody actually
Yeah.
cares about
That
them.
was a bit
But
of an
you've got some.
irrelevant game, actually, wasn't it? Because straight away in 20
Yeah,
minutes, Areola, the only player anyone owned, has conceded.
it was already conceded.
Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, it does make you cheer on weird things, doesn't it? Like it makes you cheer on otherwise meaningless game, like a clean sheet,
yeah,
70 minutes onwards
yeah, yeah.
and whatnot. So it makes it a bit more interesting, but it does make it more
It
interesting.
does. It matters more when there's FPL on it. Not to
Yeah.
quote a famous tagline. K7's next question. It might be a very similar answer to your wildcard answer, to be fair, but it's every week, how do you identify the best move available for you?
Um, well, I haven't been I haven't been doing a very good job at it, so it's probably more answer for you. But uh, there's loads of different things, right? I think if there's like suspensions, injuries, and whatnot, then and kind of blanks and doubles, all those things come into your thinking and kind of mean that getting a certain player in or moving a certain player on is more difficult. But like in a typical game week where you've got like one free transfer, two free transfers, and it's there's not the complexity of doubles. I'll just be looking at fixture swings. I'll be looking at some underlying data around who's like performing well, and just like normally you can kind of like make a decision of where there's an issue, where there's an optimal move really. So there's just a combination of different factors, players getting dropped and whatnot, and going to a more assured minutes kind of like um, position can help there. So yeah, lots of factors really, but it's a play on looking at underlying stats, upcoming fixtures, and swings between different players, and making a judgment call on all of those things, all those factors really. And normally that kind of logic and thinking, right, aligns with what a lot of the prediction tools say, right? So I think it's not a
Yeah,
coincidence, is it, Dave, when we're chatting through who the midfielders or strikers to target, and then it's like, the ones with the most predicted points are the ones we're discussing. So, an easy way to identify the best moves in a given game week is going through a prediction tool, right? Like it's probably it
yeah,
gets you 75% of the way there. What you've got to play a nuance on is, do you agree with those predictions? Do you agree with the minutes predictions they've got? Are you big on a team as those prediction tools are? What's your propensity to risk? Like, do you want to double up on an individual team, or that kind of stuff? But they can help you get 75% of the way there, right? Which
yeah,
is not a coincidence, because all those factors I spoke about, I think they form they're part of the inputs into these models, right? So yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think the big things you've taught me is form, fixtures. Form and fixtures. If you've got a player that's on form and he's got nice fixtures, bring him in. Simple as that.
Well, I think the only different, which is really like harmed me this year, but I think it's just been really exaggerated, because I think I'm like minus 200 expect points versus expected points, so I should be doing quite well. Is like, yeah, it's not form in terms of FPL points, it's form in terms of underlying stats,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
is not really form, but like, yeah, you can pick some duds like Jackson, and Nunez
Who's
isn't
this?
a
Oh,
dud,
that's at
but like
one point.
he's in and out, and yeah, kind of like
Yeah,
but it's worked for you. So far this year, just not so much for me. But I'm Really hope that's just like that's like the exception rather than the rule. But it's kind of getting a bit ridiculous by this stage. But you know, what happens.
Yeah. I think Nunes is coming back a bit. I've still got Nunes, but we'll come on to it in a second
Hmm.
because I'll talk about my team and maybe my plans with him. But there you
You
go.
got an
Question
easy
answer.
move, right?
Questions from yeah. There is an easy move, but I might wait a week and I'll tell you why when I get there. But differentials. So we didn't pick one for 26, but depressingly, mate, in 25, I got away with one. So I played Barkley, who got 2 points in the first game week, and then he got booked against Liverpool, so got one in the second. Doku did nothing in game week for the first game and came off the bench in the second. You got Robertson, who got two in the first game and then got an assist off the bench and got you to six. And then unfortunately, Adebayo didn't see the pitch at all. So
Yeah.
I got away with it with my two players against your one player, 6-6.
Well, says it all for that double game week, right? That's yeah, that's it bottled, right? That's like
Yeah,
condensed and bottled. Like where do we start? Like Jota, Darwin, De Bruyne, Haaland getting like what 3 or 4 expected goals over the
yeah.
two and
Scored once
getting one return. Oh, there's
and that.
kind of like all the injuries coming into it. Yeah, I think this summarizes it. Anyway, oh well, I think Morris actually did really
On to
well. I think
27.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Morris
go
was
on, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say
Morris, yeah?
Adebayo. Yeah, Morris did good. So like we had the right logic trying to go for a
Yeah, yeah.
Luton attacker. Just picked
I
the wrong
just
ones.
picked the
The guy
wrong.
who was scoring most of the goals and the guy who was creating all the chances. Oh well, what can you do?
Barkley's got two assists today against City, by the way.
Yeah, I
Just
saw that.
just to throw that in there, he got two assists, but they never mind. It's not in the league. But game week 27, it's my pick first, and I've got to go for Arsenal. I think the Arsenal attack has been unbelievable of late,
Hmm.
and they've got Sheffield United away, who obviously are lacking confidence. Arsenal's tails are up. They're flying, arguably the best team in the league at the minute. And there's a guy at 1.8% owned who has got a goal and an assist in both of the last two games. I've had him before and he's hurt me, but I'm going there again. I am ready to be hurt again. I'm going for Havertz.
I like it. Yeah, I think he'll start. I think.
Surely,
Um,
surely with two attacking returns
yeah,
in
yeah.
the last two games, he's got to give him a little run rate.
It's funny that things just come around all circle because I think yeah, I was big on. I started the season with him, right? I was kind of I thought he'd
Yeah,
settle a lot like really quick, and I was impressed. I think it was the Charity Shield, it was the Community Shield game. I was like, wow, he was looking really good as the 9, and then it just didn't happen. But I think it's working really good. I think he's a big part of why they've started to be blowing teams away. I think he's kind of really come to his own
yeah, yeah,
as that
yeah. He's doing really
whatever
well.
that
So yeah, I'll
combination
start
of
with him.
a 9 and 8. But yeah, I think he's a good option. I'm going to go for a player that I like quite a lot for a team that needs to get some points. That I think is a decent team who are playing a pretty bad defense. Statistically, the third worst defense in the league at the moment. So I'm going to go for Calvert Lewin against West
Calvert
Ham.
Lewin.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. He did score. Did he score last week or the week before?
yeah. So like the logic,
Got a
like
goal in,
basically in
didn't
the
he?
stats at the moment, like so Everton are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're the seventh best attack in the league at the moment, based on like
Yeah, yeah.
rolling XG, and then um yeah, West Ham are the third worst. Only Newcastle and Luton are worse at the moment. So like yeah, I think there's a chance there, and I think
There's options.
like Everton have got a lot to play for as well, right? So if you're doing
Yeah, yeah.
that random bit of motivation, so I reckon yeah, Calvert Lewin.
The
Things
tail up
back
as
as well.
well. Just been
Decoy's
given.
back, and Decoy's played for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
last
yeah.
few, right? And I think he makes a hell of a difference. So
Makes them better.
I
It
wouldn't
definitely
be
makes them
surprised to
better.
see
They're just
uptick in
obviously
form. Like so,
yeah. They've just had the well, they're 10 points 10-6. So might be
yeah,
on
Europe.
the tails up to try and get themselves even further off the bottom.
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna go for somebody else who's been taken off in the 77th minute tonight, which I think means he will probably start at the weekend. Man City player, I love him. He's coming back. I'm bringing back two old boys to this part of
Yeah,
of the episode. Uh, Bernardo Silva. For me, Bernardo Silva is one of those players that in these sort of games he pops up with a goal all the time. I think he scored maybe two or three against United.
yeah,
He scored a couple against Liverpool. He just seems to cut. These are the games he scores in, uh, and he's got decent underlying stats for the season. Maybe not so much of late, but he pops up with a goal, and I fancy him to score this weekend. So for that reason, I'm going to go for Bernardo Silva and leave you with a potential open goal for Tottenham and Villa assets.
yeah. I'm going to go Bailey. I was kind of shocked he's below 5% ownership. So Bailey is, what's his ownership? 4.1. So just about. But yeah, obviously he scored a goal and assist at the weekend against Forest in
Yeah,
24. He got an assist against Manchester United. He got a goal against Sheffield United in 23. He got an attacking return against Newcastle before that. So yeah, pretty rich
funny.
run of form. His
Yeah,
stats for the season are really good. His expected goal involvement per 90 is 0.7, which is like not far off elite. And I think he's minutes risk early in the season, but I think he's definitely getting the minutes now, right? So yeah, not Douglas Luiz, yeah, Leon Bailey. I'll be going for. I think it's
yeah,
kind of weird, but Diaby, who was like really hot at the beginning of the season,
yeah.
he's coming on as a sub.
Cropped
But
off.
Bailey's the starter now,
Yeah,
and so yeah, Bailey against Luton. I'm pretty confident by that. I'm quite surprised you didn't go for him.
yeah. Just a punt
Yeah,
and feelings. So it's Calvert-Lewin and Bailey against Havertz and Bernardo Silva. Those names sound a lot better than the ones that we had last week. Maybe
they do.
minus Robertson. I've got to
Yeah.
back Robbo, but but they sound like better names. So we will see next week how we get on.
Love
On
it.
to plans for this coming game week. So I kind of teased it. My thoughts are with Darwin Nunes. If it looks like he'll be out, and I think he will be, dead easy for me. Sell him, get Solanke. Solanke's got a Burnley team. He's on form. He's then got a double game week. Dead easy move for me. The other option I could be a Hwang on the pitch and bench Darwin, but I'd rather just have Solanke than do that. Get ahead of the curve, ahead of the price changes, ahead of that double. Um,
Um,
but I'll see what the cup results show, and I'll see if Darwin looks like he's going to be fit, and if he is, I might just keep him because I think Liverpool away at Forest. If there's any chance Darwin's going to score, sorry, any chance he's going to start is a good fixture. Did you see the video when Van Dijk scored of Darwin's celebrations?
yeah, he's like a steeplechase, isn't he? He's like a
That's it.
horse, like hurdling and stuff. So
Straight down the
he's
stairs,
not injured. Like I
jumping
think
the fence,
he's not
and I'm
injured.
looking at that thinking this guy's not injured. And I think Darwin's got just as much chance playing for a Liverpool attack of getting points against Forest away than as Solanke's
Yeah,
got away at Burnley. So if
I,
so if Darwin's fit, I'll probably keep him and I'll roll a transfer. That's what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
yeah. You don't need to force it, and I think goal scoring odds, if they were both starting, I think would be slightly in Nunez's favour, all things considered. Um, like
Yeah,
Burnley are worse than Forest. That's obvious, but like Liverpool attack is far better than Bournemouth, right? So yeah, yeah, the net value, I think it might be worth just like rolling. Who knows? Solanke might not. He might be injured, right? He didn't play tonight. He
yeah,
wasn't in the squad, right?
yeah.
So who knows? He might be injured. And like, yeah, I think going in next game week um
With two.
with two is kind of cool. So yeah, I think not a bad plan.
Yeah,
And
scoring when it's
he's
dead easy, isn't it?
and what about Hwang? Like you're benching him against the worst defense in the league, and obviously
Yeah,
you
I
bought
know.
you bought him for a reason. And I know everyone who's brought him in, it was because they just knew that Leicester were going to beat Bournemouth tonight, and
Obviously,
and
obviously.
and and,
As
and,
I mean, it
and
was it was a
let's see
given.
what happens tomorrow.
Top of the
But like,
the top of the championship, yeah. Guaranteed
He's
win.
got it. Everyone brought him in
Uh,
for his game week in 29 that he's probably going to have now. But yeah, obviously you brought him in for a reason. Must be a pretty good player.
it,
Why are you
it,
benching the worst defense in the league?
who else do I bench? Look at the fixtures they've all got. Who else do I bench? That's my issue.
Uh, right, Foden, Richarlison,
I'm not going to bench for Charles at home to Palace. Not
Gross.
a chance. No, I mean that guy's been saving me week in, week out. But Foden could be an option, but I feel
Um,
City have everything in them that they could just show up against City United and score 5. Foden last season, was it last season, got a hat trick against Man United. It's like what I'm not. I'd rather just lose Wang's points on the bench.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
No,
you're
I
desperate
I'd
for me
probably,
to put him on the pitch.
I'd probably keep it the same. If I'm being honest. Um, yeah,
So yeah,
solid team.
it's just that the problem with having those 8 attackers, you just
Uh,
who do you bench in a game week like this? And I think for me, yeah, Huang's just the one. I mean, based on his underlying stats for last game week, he was absolutely horrendous. 0.06 expected goal involvement. So probably just through frustration. So yeah, you could go on the bench and I'll play the rest because Foden's delivering for me. Sakas, Richarlison, Gross, Haaland, Watkins. We'll see if Darwin isn't fit, I'll probably bring Solanke in as well. So yeah, I don't see
yeah,
Huang starting for me. And then, but
dangerous
he's got
game.
a nice game week next week, and he'll start again in game week 28. And when he gets that game week 29 fixture confirmed tomorrow night, he'll be starting in that game week for me as well.
Oh, that's unbelievable. That.
So we'll see if it comes off. But yeah, here's your team.
Uh, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's looking great. Like defensive, other than the two Arsenal boys, the defense is looking like an issue because like Bradley's time is surely not is all dependent on like Trent coming back. So I think he's got this game against Forest and then probably will be dropped thereafter. Stupidan's dropped. Taylor plays for Burnley, of course. But yeah, I think I'm confident Bradley will because Trent's injury was an aggravation of the previous one. I think he's going to definitely be eased out, and they're going to want him for game week 28, right? Aren't they, against Man City, which is the most important game of the season so far. So yeah, I think Bradley will start, and he's looked really good, right? I think I know Roberts got the assist in game week 25 to double, but I think Bradley looked like the better fullback and the more attacking of the two, right? So I think he was looking good. So yeah, I'm quite happy with my defense there. Kelleher pulled the worldie, obviously, in the League Cup. I think he would have, if it was FPL terms, he would have come back out with like 16 points with the amount of saves he was making. So um, yeah, quite happy with Kelleher. I think yeah, the rest of the team picks itself, of course. So I'll be reluctantly benching Gordon, but yeah, Richarlison,
Yeah,
De Bruyne, Saka, Foden, Slanky, Haaland, and kind of Watkins. I think that's the right decision. Captaincy currently on kind of Haaland. The decisions I got to make are obviously I shared these thoughts before tonight. So De Bruyne has played 90 minutes, which I think it's a bit
yeah,
weird why he didn't come off at 60 minutes, but he's certainly fit, right? So I don't know whether it was a case of
yeah,
building a 90-minute fitness. So really it'll be down to my play on minutes. And of course,
yeah,
like the wait until the FA Cup games kind of finish this week, the full review of the doubles and whatnot. But like let's assume there's a leak that De Bruyne is out, or I've got a suspicion that his minutes are going to be reduced. I've got two options I think that are sensible: Son in for De Bruyne or Douglas Luiz in for De Bruyne. Probably Son would be my favourite option for obvious reasons. He's just a better, more explosive player, right? Playing
yeah,
a weak Palace side at home. Reason why I want to do these moves is because yeah, both those players, De Bruyne won't play in 29 because Man City have just won their FA Cup game. Some will definitely play. Douglas Luiz will definitely play, and I think it's still a smart move to just keep these options open, right? These
yeah,
pathways to have some flexibility. Because when I'm looking at my hip strategy, the players that I'd be free hitting in for 29, they're not massively inspiring at the moment, right? You got a few Villa players, you got a few Spurs players. I think you can get away with, unless like loads of other fixtures get added, you can get away with 7 or 8 players, right? As long as you've got the best captaincy options covered. If you have a Son, if you have a Watkins, maybe a Tony, you can navigate it. So I'd love to navigate it potentially, but yeah, we'll see. So based on tonight, it's probably rolling it because yeah, it looks like De Bruyne has got the minutes under his belt, so certainly not injured.
Yeah.
Surely he's got to start, right?
Well, I'm thinking because he's played 90, it means he won't start.
But like he's their best player, right? And they're so much better attacking when like it was really quite stark when the 2 games he missed, right? They were poor,
Yeah.
right? From an
I'm
attacking
just
point of view.
thinking he's took off Haaland and he's took off Bernardo Silva in the 77th when they're 5-2 up or something at the time, maybe 6-2 up. I'm thinking, well, he's taken Haaland off and Silva off because he wants to prep them for the weekend and make sure that nothing happens. And then I'm looking at like why it makes no sense why De Bruyne hasn't started for 2. Now he gets 90. You want to ease him back in. I'm kind of leaning away from what you're thinking. I'm thinking he's probably not going to start in the league. But I mean, we're all, who knows Pep? We're pure
Yeah,
guesswork.
this is why bringing in De Bruyne was just a bit of a stupid decision because he's like a super expensive, old, injured asset, right? And yeah, it's obviously a dilemma now. It's just not nice going into um, games just like concerned, right? That will a player
Yeah,
play or not. So I just think like the league is so tight, and like if I'm looking at their fixture run, they've got what they got? They got Man United, right? Which is a I don't think really Pep cares about derbies and stuff like that, but it's a big game, and United are one of the better teams in the league, right? Just based on league position, it's a must-win game. You've then got Copenhagen at home on Wednesday, where they're 3-1 up already. I think that seems a logical game to rest someone like
yeah,
De Bruyne.
rest.
And then
Yeah,
you've got the most important game in the league, the Sunday game against Liverpool. So if I'm looking at that, if he's fit, the Copenhagen game is the logical one to rest your
to
best
miss.
player.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's a bit. I would love them just come up at 70 minutes. Why, once the game is already
honestly,
won, you keeping him on? So it's like a real dilemma. But I think going in ahead of the FA Cup games, I was thinking I'd move De Bruyne to Son. I'm probably thinking now maybe roll it because like does Son outscore De Bruyne? Does it? Yeah, Son against Palace versus De Bruyne against Manchester United. I don't know. Who would you favour?
that's one. Well, it depends on what City shows up, doesn't it? Because City have it within them to easily put 4-5 past United. They've done it before. As I said, I think they scored. Was it 6 last season that they put past them?
Yeah,
Um, Whereas Son, I'm just going to look at him now. I didn't think Son had been doing much since he came back.
no, he's
I
not, is
don't think
he?
he has. He got an assist against Brighton, but let's put it this way: he played. That was only for 28 minutes, to be fair. But against Wolves, expected goals 0.00. In the 28 minutes against Brighton, expected goals 0.00. 0.12
Yeah,
in 90 minutes expected assists against Wolves. I'd, for me, I'd rather De Bruyne because at least when he's playing, he's getting the stats and he's getting
yeah,
the form.
and I think Manchester United are probably worse than Palace, all things considered, defensively. I think they are worse, and like it seems to be a bit of a cliche, but against a bigger team, they're like there's a bit of too much arrogance to like just sit deep and
Yeah, yeah,
accept a 1-0 loss. Like they are the team that on a day a big team like Liverpool or Manchester City or Arsenal could just hammer. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
probably thinking with regret, just like keeping De Bruyne now.
Bruyne.
Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get those 4 assists that I'm owed from that stinking double game week in the -8. So yeah,
Imagine that. Imagine that
and I
was a
think
league game.
yeah, I think what convinced me was like when we were chatting just before that double game week. It was the Copenhagen game at home. I think what did he scored twice and assisted, or assisted
I
twice
think he
and
came off
scored.
the bench, yeah. Smashed it. Came off the
So,
bench
like I
and
was like, wow, this guy is just, which is not new info. This guy's really good.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit. You've sort of been performing,
Potential
you've been
role.
performing in cups. Yeah, I'll roll. I think I'll roll and then um, see what I wanna do because like that may open up different options like from in 28. Like I could double down on someone like Tavernier from like um, or Billing from Bournemouth, right? Get them in
Yeah.
for the double, get them. So I got like an extra fixture over someone like Son. So and then I could want to double dead end like a team into 29, like get rid of a
Yeah.
Saka if he has a blank, and then or a Foden, then get in a Son. Then so yeah, I reckon I'm probably going to roll now. I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And give yourself two ahead of a double.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, and yeah, it's looking a bit of a mess the team, but like yeah, the core is all right. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think the 3 is looking. I'm looking like I could potentially navigate 29 without the free hit, right? So if if I if Wolves and Bournemouth get a fixture, then I've got a few players already in my
Yeah, you
team. It's
might
like pretty
end up.
lean, but I'm covering a lot of the basis of the strongest players, right? Um,
Yeah, and it could work out for you tonight because it looks as though Blackburn, Newcastle's going to go to pens. Uh, and obviously, if it does and Blackburn win, Gordon gets a fixture in 29.
yeah, I think there's a dependency on another team though, right? What's the other team?
No, I think they're playing Forest. And Forest are out.
Okay. There we
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Well,
So you get
yeah, I
you
think
get
yeah,
yourself. Is
Gordon.
it
Yeah,
Forest?
that'll be
Forest or
big actually.
Palace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Double
people
check
benefit.
that.
A lot of people still have a Newcastle defender there. A lot of people have a Burn or a Botman.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It's Palace. My mistake. It's Palace, but Palace are out the cup. Forest
oh,
aren't.
okay.
So they've got Palace in 29. So if they lose tonight, they're gonna have a fixture.
Gordon damaging my team again. Like, why'd you have to score? Um, but yeah, let's see what happens there. Yeah, it does look like he's going for pens. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
I'm going to roll based on just talking out loud there. De Bruyne doing 90
yeah, yeah,
today, and then really being like the logical thing. I know with Man City that it's not logic isn't really followed, but they've been bad the last couple of games and been lucky. I think against Bournemouth they were lucky to win. Against
yeah,
Brentford they were unlucky. They could have scored more than one, but it was hardly free flowing stuff, right? So I think De Bruyne does unlock so much, especially for Haaland, right? So I think those two ticking
yeah,
will just be really important. It just seems that Copenhagen game is like such an obvious one. So yeah, he looks
yeah.
like he's fit.
Makes sense.
I think he'll
Makes
play
sense.
it. So yeah, I'll roll. So yeah, thanks. That
Roll.
was good. That was therapeutic, and you've helped me
I'm glad.
make my decision.
I'm glad. I'm glad. And keep it up to date. There should be football on every time we do this. It's good to keep forever changing the narrative when we see what's
Yeah, yeah,
happening
yeah.
in the football world. But
What's
that
your plan
is
for next
what
week?
we.
Because I think I'll have to miss you for next week as well. Again, I'm
You're away, aren't you? You're away. You're away, going away on Friday. So before I forget, have a good time. Enjoy your
thank you,
enjoy
man.
your
Thank you, man.
yourself. I won't tell the listeners where you are in case any of them follow you. But yeah, have a good time whilst you're
Uh,
there. Plans. I'll put something on. I'll get something on. I'll put some slides together, and I think next week's a big one for me because it's obviously double game week time, and then we'll know what game week 29 looks like. So I'll do something along those sort of lines and um, try and help people understand if they can go without the free hits, if they're going to be forced into it. Yeah, something
oh, I
like
feel
that.
bad now. Yeah, it's a big one now, actually. Isn't it? So I was thinking, can I do something from the beach? But I think I'm probably 8 hours ahead of you, so I don't think it's going to work. The
Yeah,
timings aren't going to work. I know
no.
you're a
Well,
workaholic as
when
well.
you
I know you log off at work about. 9 p.m. most days. So like,
Depends on the day. It can be. Today was a late one. But yeah, well, you'll be back. You'll be back before game week 29, I think. So we'll catch that.
yeah, yeah. Um, I
I
think
think.
that's it done for a while. So like, we can be a bit more present.
Yeah, yeah. Then 29 will be done, and then we'll be moving on to game week 30, 31, where I imagine one or two of us will be in wildcard territory.
Yeah, it'll be either or, is It'll be a free hit in 29 or a wild card in 30, I think. I think it's one of
Yeah,
those routes, right? Because your team is going to be shit if you're avoiding that free hit. Like,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be
Exactly that.
heavier plays you don't want to have long term, right? So yeah, I think it'll
Yeah.
be some good chats there, and like I think it'll be knocking on the door of top 25k, top 10k by then.
Well, hopefully we'll see. Got a few weeks to go. But yeah, I'll keep you posted for hours. But yeah, it's on.
Uh,
It's gone to pens that game. It is on pens, so you'll be
well,
rooting
we
for
know Gordon
Blackburn
can
over the
score a
next
pen,
10 minutes.
the bastard, like so.
We'll see if he scores one this time. But yeah, that's gone to pens. So get your Blackburn top out, mate. Get your Blackburn top out for the next 10 minutes.
Bit too close to Bristol Rovers, isn't it? So
Yeah, yeah. But no,
same
appreciate your
colours.
time, mate. Appreciate your
Right,
time. Enjoy your trip. Enjoy your trip, and we'll catch you on the other side.
cool. Thank you, my friend. My pleasure. You take care.
And yourself. And thank you to you, the listener, as well, for joining us. As always, if you can give us a like, give us a subscribe, it does help us out. And we wish you the best with your future planning. We will speak to you, or I'll speak to you next week, and then Matt and I will be back the week after. But until then, all the best with your teams, and speak to you soon.